we were meeting fairly regularly to work on the zoning ordinance, cell towers, accessory dwelling units, and site.
Agree.
So that was, that was a meeting where I said it wasn't at that one, so.
No,
I think, yeah, and I know it's another page, but I have a bunch of notes here too. Of the small changes that we were discussing that needed to be done.
right. So there was only some small things that we were going to bring in the zoning ordinance at that time. Basically, it was some definition changes and some housekeeping. Because we were so pressed for time to get it to the town meeting. And we had a couple of ordinances that we wanted to bring to the town meeting also. One of them was cell towers and the other one was accessory dwelling units. We were pretty sure we could get those set up, have the public hearings that were necessary and bring them to the town meeting in time. But the bottom fell out. Just
Literally.
yeah. So I'm just hoping we can go back and catch that momentum that we had and continue on.
So what's the timeline now?
Well, so I spoke with Joe, and we're not official yet. He says that we do have money in the budget to go ahead and have a special meeting, call a special meeting to get the ordinances that are already basically written. We just have to all agree on them for cell towers, accessory dwelling units, and and have the meetings and call the public hearings and stuff. Those, I believe, we're going to be able to do without going to town meeting if we have the special we'll double check with council. But then we can utilize the rest of the time. We can't change the zoning ordinance without going to town meeting. That's the law. Have to do it. That will go to town.
Okay.
So we got a whole
Year.
year. So we can really, instead of just making some housekeeping changes, we can really sit down and work on it.
Make some serious. So my biggest thing would be out of all this, so, and I don't know if it's up to the planning board or selectmen or who, is once all these changes are agreed and changed, you need to have someone to enforce these.
Yep.
Go do these building inspections and checks and whatnot.
And Jason's just dying to do
I
it.
am just dying to, you're recording, are you? Make people upset.
Good. Well, I agree. So we need to have, and I think we had been discussing it before, it wasn't so much a building permit inspection process as it was a life safety
Correct,
process.
yes. I mean, you had a lot of new buildings built over this past year or so, and none got inspected whatsoever. And I think that's part of the reason a lot of people are trying to come to this town and build, because they can get away with so much stuff.
Right.
I know, that's why my parents came here back in the
Yeah.
70s.
I think something like that, though, I said this to you before, I worry about the fire department getting sued. I'd rather see the zoning board put in for a state certified inspector.
Right,
That way, it takes it's now on his liability.
Off the
Yeah.
town and off you.
But I agree, it should be done.
I don't know if the state would cover that, though. I think
But
they
the
would
state
say
will
the
cover it.
town needs to require,
What you have to do is the town would have to hire a state certified
Correct.
inspector.
right,
So you build a house, I get the inspector, go inspect his house. You'll have to pay that bill.
yes,
And then,
but that's part of
yeah, that's part
all
of
the
it.
building codes, and again, this is why I know everything costs more money, let's face it. And no one wants to pay anything, but anything over 100 square feet, to me, you should be getting to come in here and getting a permit that you gotta pay for. Garage, shed, if it's over 100 square, more than 10 by 10.
So I think on that avenue, though, it comes down to either, I guess, probably the zoning board to say, okay, these are what we require is be safety elements
Yes,
for the select board to hire, say that go inspectors. These are elements that we want.
right,
After that,
yep,
So you could have a part-time building.
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Get a
Yeah.
full-time one.
Just an on-call.
Yeah, or an
Wow.
on-call one.
yep, find somebody.
You wouldn't
There's,
necessarily-
Again, I honestly, I would be interested in it. I mean, it's gonna have to be a paid position, really. I mean,
It wouldn't necessarily need to be on call either. It could be scheduled for,
yeah,
2
Tuesdays,
days a
Thursdays,
month.
yeah.
or 2
Yeah.
days, how, you
2
know.
days a week or 1 day a week or
I don't
whatever.
necessarily see a need for 2 days a week, I
No.
don't think.
Right.
But even the first and third Wednesday, whatever, you know what I mean? Couple days that's designated a month.
Yep.
Where you know that what if building inspections are gonna be done on these days? So you
Yes,
can either
sir.
get ready for that
Yeah.
or not, but I think,
The thing is when you buy a house,
Mhm.
you hire an inspector to look at the house for you.
yeah,
It's generally a certified inspector.
Yep.
You just go right through the elevator, he's hired, he comes, you set up a date to do it. So
Right.
he's not on the payroll.
Right.
He's a certified state building inspector.
Yeah.
Just, so you don't have to have anybody on the payroll.
so you're saying not to have a designated person,
You
they
just have
could
someone
use
designated.
Well,
just,
you do
Yeah.
if you're with your new homes that are being built.
yeah, but it's not, I mean, it's a designated person in the town.
Yeah, we would have to have a town inspector.
Yeah,
Yes.
it can't just
You're
phone a friend
Yeah,
from
you have
the,
somebody that, would say, okay, I'm gonna charge you. Whatever.
Cause is there anything in there on, commercial places and stuff? Again, the only reason I bring is like patents. I mean, if I had any say, I would have forced him to have put at least a dry hydrant system in a big building like that.
There's nothing, now he should have some kind of fire
Yeah.
sprinkler system, fire safety, how many people? Again, that's our zoning ordinance. We have nothing in here about commercial.
Right,
We have nothing that says we have no site plan overview. So if we had site plan overview, then we could say, if you are going to have more than 3 people who are not your family in a commercial place, then your hours of operation are gonna be such and such. You're going to have, the driveway has to be so big, you can only have so many cars. You have to have so many exits, so many entrances. You have to have fire suppression, you have to, you can add all of this and you can keep tweaking it as you go.
Right.
But we don't have site plan overview.
Jason, I think we also want to be careful not discouraging businesses from coming here.
no, absolutely not. I totally agree with that.
So
But like I said,
find a happy medium where
Right.
you just can't walk in
Right.
without safety, but
but I mean, you're talking, between a dry hydrant and a wet hydrant system, you're talking thousands of dollars difference, where a dry hydrant is pretty simple, it's basic piping, basic and something we can go
Right.
into, discharge water to versus, you have to have your own water source and all that. So, and any big commercial place, again, it's a safety issue, really.
Do you have a?
And it's
pumper?
not only a safety issue for them, it's a safety issue for us.
So
We
do
get
you,
there.
do you have a pumper truck? If they were just to put in a pond, could you just drop a hose?
Oh, absolutely.
Filter? So,
We have a truck now that has 2,500 gallons of water. I could charge that system.
so I mean, you could give them some choices. If they were a commercial entity and they wanted to come in and do something, then you could just say, okay, you have an occupancy of such and such. And so we need some type of safety measure in order to fight the fire. Once you get to 2,000 feet of hose length, you can't go any further from that. And we're going to need this type of fire system. Here's your choice. What is it that you want to build? We don't have huge commercial like that, but you've got to get up that driveway in the ice.
Right.
And what happens if you have a mudslide? And now how are you going to get your hose up that driveway? Let's just use patents. Will your hose go from the street all the way up to that driveway?
It's a good question. I don't know how long the driveway is. I'd have to measure it, really see. I mean, I go 800 feet.
Okay, so that's why most cul-de-sacs are 1,000 feet, so that you
Right.
can be at the end of the cul-de-sac and get to the end
Right.
by safety measures.
Right. I mean, my other concern would be the housing, work housing, was it, or something like
Workforce
that?
housing, yeah.
That towns may have to do.
Yep,
So that's something else before that happens and someone goes to do that. It's like, Actually, I think the state would step in a little bit there about what is required too. But if we have it in our own stuff, that would be very helpful also.
Have you looked into any of the surrounding small towns and what their requirements are?
I know somewhat quite a bit of Newport just because I worked there for 10 years. So I know quite a bit of their requirements. But I mean, you're talking a book is that thick.
Yeah,
so it's like-
Newport's terrible.
Newport,
And Newport's terrible. They're really screwed.
They really
I think they're. It's fine.
population dwarfs us.
Right.
Yeah.
Alan, who actually does their inspection now, he's actually pretty reasonable. He works with people pretty good, so he's not discouraged. The lady before discouraged people big time. So,
Dominic, you're thinking more on the lines like Cornish, right?
Is that,
yeah,
Cornish, like that.
Cornish, even Grantham.
yeah, I'm thinking like Cornish, Grantham, Centipede.
Yep.
Centipede is starting to get up there, Grantham's starting to get up there, but
Son of.
you're getting more not all
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Goshen,
Very,
Goshen, yeah.
Goshen, Springfield even, yep.
Yeah, Goshen's been building left and right, maybe Unity.
Goshen might be getting bigger, so the mountain is gonna be expanding, so they need to start thinking about that. All right, how long do you wanna wait for him?
Well,
Who are
obviously.
we waiting
he's not
for?
Joe.
Chris?
Joe.
Joe.
Oh.
So that's it. I'm the planning board. Okay.
Welcome to our world.
all three, you, yourself, and I.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right.
Oh, when you start doing that, we're gonna walk you up.
Yeah.
I should probably be locked up, I'll tell you what. Okay, well, yeah, well, I'd just say let's start. I'm not gonna wait for him. He knows it's happening. So there's 5 of you and 1 of me.
You want us to open the meeting?
You guys can open up the meeting.
Now you're supposed to be.
I make a
I was gonna
motion,
say,
I make a motion, we open
We don't
it.
even need, do we even need a motion? All right, we're.
It's working meetings.
It's a working meeting.
Whatever.
I'll officially start this meeting as chairman of the zoning board. How's that sound? 7:08.
I'll second it as chairman.
Aye. Next.
So if any of you have complaints out there, the planning board needs more members.
There you
And the
go.
zoning board can use some alternates.
Yes, use some alternates. Time to step up. Step up or be quiet. But I will go, I'll refer to you where you want to start. October is too far away for me to remember where we left off.
No, I don't want to lose, we've already lost that momentum. So basically, this was just to make sure that everybody is willing to go back and start again. I had been working on the ordinance to add wording in to bring us up on the accessory dwelling unit. By law, by right, everybody's allowed to have one. We were just tweaking it so that it worked for Croydon, making sure that it was owner occupied, trying to add some flexibilities for multi-generational use. I'd like to continue on with that one and get it up to a special meeting. I was working on the cell tower ordinance too, so that we at least have something besides just the RSAs, which were in place and never utilized. So we have this tower that doesn't even have an antenna on the top of it.
It will in the next couple of weeks.
On the top of it or just your?
150 feet up. Our antenna would.
Yeah, your antenna.
Yeah, for our stuff.
It's not the
So-
cell phones though.
No, it's not.
No,
cell
no,
phones.
it's not. So
No.
the last time I talked to the company, which wasn't too long ago when we were, when our building finally showed up, he said, some of their towers actually do sit for a couple of years before people finally get on them, because it is a large expense even to get on the tower and for them to put all their stuff in. So I haven't really checked into it yet, which I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna find out now that we have a building up there, can a cell company come in and use our building also to put their electronics in?
That's
Or
what
would
they've
that
been
in-
waiting for.
Right, so it's a lesser cost. I gotta check with my guy from Hanover to say, hey, would you allow that? If they do, then maybe try to work on pushing Verizon or somebody, say, hey, look, there's power there now, there's internet up there now, would you guys
What you really
consider?
want to do is you want to encourage people who are not getting good service to stop calling. Because
Yeah.
Verizon's attitude is going to be, if we don't have that many people complaining, we're not going to spend that money.
Right.
Mhm.
Right,
That's how they work. It's all based on their.
Yeah.
So,
well, we've pushed them a couple times even under emergency reasons where, we don't have cell service and we really could use it a lot, especially with technologies nowadays. I had one incident, a pole broken. I'm like, it would have been awesome for me to have taken a picture of that pole broken, sent it to dispatch, so when they called Eversource, they had a better idea of what's going on, but I couldn't send it.
you don't have the Verizon squirrel? It's a little squirrel. It goes in your truck.
No, yeah, no, he died. He died.
That guy, I mean, I called and complained because I said, Verizon told me you have service in Croydon. I don't get any service.
There's no service.
No.
And he says, well, geez, so let me look. And he said, oh, no. I said, no, I don't get service.
Yeah.
He says, well, you can buy a box. I said, why should I buy a box? You told me it would work. So, if enough people complain,
Right.
me speed up the process,
So,
especially fire department.
right. I mean, maybe we can get a petition of some sort, have a lot of people sign it. I know not everyone has Verizon, but usually other carriers will
Well, they're
lease
picking-
off of whoever puts one up,
Right.
so, yeah.
So that guy put that tower up on spec, knowing that anybody that comes in is going to put their antennas up on that tower. The ordinance that I've written up and that I want all of you, which I'll bring copies to the next meeting to read, states that precedence will be given to co-locate. So everybody's gonna go on that tower, so he's gonna be putting lots of money in his pocket. The way I wrote the ordinance is that precedence is gonna be given to stealth any antenna. Because I would much rather see a little stealth antenna up here. Once you get what you need.
Yeah.
And he better be giving it to you for free. A stealth antenna up here in the town hall. And the town hall be given the money for a stealth cell antenna. Rather than some guy up on a hill making money.
Well,
True, but how well is that stealth antenna gonna work all the way down through town?
It won't, another building will have to have it and another will have, that's the cell part of it.
Right.
But they're putting 5G antennas on poles,
Yeah,
and that's the new technology.
Yeah.
Those towers are gonna be gone in another year or two.
that's why Verizon doesn't build them anymore.
That's right. And he put that in spec and it's gonna sit there.
The only thing I would argue on that would be, there's gotta be something that's gonna go on there eventually, or else these tower companies, when they just put up, spend that kind of money, put a tower.
Well, let me
They,
give you-
they must know that something's gonna come sooner or later.
Well, the deal with the towers, my partner has a couple of towers down Rochester area. The deal with the towers is years ago, Verizon, AT&T, they were all putting towers up.
Yeah.
And then they saw the future and gone, we gotta tear all these down when the time comes.
Yep.
It'd be cheaper for us to pay $2,500 a month for somebody to have it in the yard per antenna than us to build one, knowing we gotta take them all down. And they know the future's satellite, that's where the future is.
Right.
So the deal with Verizon right now is they love documents. Like, beautiful, we don't have to tear it down, rental money, ready. Now, if he becomes the host, then you have all the 5G antennas going all the way down, which works out for the town too. So everything works out well. And once you get one company in there like Verizon, AT&T, goes,
Yeah, Verizon.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna get others to
I
follow.
want a
that.
piece of that action. If Verizon went in, there's a reason we want it, and that's how that whole thing works.
Right, right.
But the tower's still
But
gonna.
the towers are all personally owned these days. They have been for the last almost, we started up about 15 years ago.
Yeah, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, is when we started. We got a hole in a couple up in the ocean, but that's paid just like 5,000 a year just to hold this water for us.
I guess my question is, do we know if Thorson, is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Is he getting so much a month no
We
matter
don't-
what?
They
Or-
didn't have to have a permit to put that up.
Right, right. And I get what you're saying. I mean, personally, smart guy. If I could do something with my land that made me money, I would do. Actually, we had a company come and ask us about putting some kind of building on the land fire department. And I was all for it. I'm like, hey, if we can get some more income coming in to help us out, did great. But as soon as but when he called me, I said, realize the tower that just went in up here, and he looked into it, and then he called me back. He goes, yeah, never mind. He said, they've already kind of beat me to it.
Yeah.
He was a different company, so he didn't bother. I was like, crap, I should have shut up.
See, it's not difficult up here. You get down like our tower in Rochester, that was about $50,000 by the time we got permitted to put it up.
Yeah.
It was hearing after hearing.
That still should have gone for a hearing.
Mhm.
There's RSAs that should have been adhered to that got,
But the town has to adopt those RSAs in a
No.
lot of cases. Those are state RSAs.
those are state RSAs right across the board. And there was regional impact because you can see it in Grantham. We should have notified Grantham that it was going up. And, oh, by the way, you can see it. And so anyways, water under the bridge, nothing we can do about it.
But for what it's worth, we're not the only towns. That's
Yeah.
further north.
Yes.
It's the same.
Yeah, well, you just don't, small towns don't understand the state RSAs that
In
are,
a lot of cases, the antenna companies do all the work.
Yes.
They go to the town meetings, they talk to the selectmen.
and they just, yep.
So you want to add something in the zoning about tower, just to keep from anyone else just throwing up a tower?
Yes, well,
Not
just,
that I'm too
just,
worried about anyone doing it now because of that one, but
just to cover any
Cover.
municipal
Yep.
responsibilities so that everybody understands that there is some kind of a process and that we will adhere to the state RSAs and maybe be a little bit more strict when it comes to certain things. Conservation areas, we won't allow towers at all.
Well, that's a good point. So that should be in the zoning
Yeah.
period, just,
so we need to add a tower thing into
Yeah.
zoning.
just to.
Or is that part of it?
RSA.
Or should that be under planning board, or is that also?
It will also be under zoning.
Zoning, because if someone wants to build. Yeah, because you could have a neighbor say, I'm gonna put up my own antenna right beside you.
Yeah, right
Next
next to
thing
it.
you know,
And it's just gonna be up on a higher ledge, so I can do it that much higher.
you see the games that would go on.
How about a windmill, the cavitation will interfere with the signal.
Well, that was a big to-do down in Ocean there. That was meeting after meeting after meeting. It was,
So it wouldn't hurt to put something about windmills in too then.
Yeah.
And while we're on that subject then, no, because
Who wants to put some up there, Jason?
I was doing some work at a house in Newport, and while I was there one day, they were having solar panels put on their roof. And I started thinking about, like, why am I not doing this at the fire station? Putting solar panels on the hall side of the parking lot side, it gets sun all day long. It would reduce our bill for us, for our electricity. But it made me think about just solar panels themselves, like in the field across the street by the ball field.
You want to do a solar farm.
See, that you have to apply to the state. for.
Yes, you do.
That becomes
Okay.
a farm, not
Yeah.
put it on.
I mean, no, I personally, no, I'm looking into just doing our roof, but there's plenty of fields up on Laverne Hill. That's completely state, that really has nothing to do with
No,
township.
it also, it is state, but we also need our own, we should have our own zoning ordinance, because if you're going to be putting in a solar farm and you're gonna be sending that energy out, net metering or net generation,
Yeah,
then become your own, utility.
Yeah,
right,
that's how
Yeah.
that works. And I know there's state laws on that.
Yes, there
yeah,
are,
And you're right, the word is farming.
yeah, solar farming.
right. So we probably should look into that and say, are we
Yeah.
only gonna allow just so many, solar panels on stands? Versus on their people's roof.
Well, you can look up the RSA in the state and from there, advise or adopt the whole thing.
Because we do have another residence in Croydon that did their entire roof. You would never know it because of the panels they got. It looked
We don't
like
exempt them.
shingles.
Yeah, they have the
Very cool
shingles,
looking,
yeah.
but
Those are really neat. They did those for HOAs down south because the HOAs don't allow solar panels, so they made shingles.
yeah,
But Croydon hasn't adopted the exemption for solar, for any of the renewable energies. So there's a couple of paragraphs, and one of them is for the net metering.
well, it's,
But as far as,
it's up and coming, so,
as far as putting it on the fire station, I mean, I don't think anywhere in the state that's an issue.
Right.
Put it on your house, it's not an issue.
okay,
You start building farms,
right,
because you're interfering with the main supply.
yeah,
To tie it in.
And the fire station's exempt, so they're gonna pick it up and add it to your assessment, but you're exempt from taxation
Right.
anyway, so. The rest of us poor bozos aren't.
don't worry, I feel like I'm paying for it in other ways.
So, yeah, and these are all things that also need to be updated in the master plan. So the master plan is from 1980. There's no renewable energy chapter. There's no.
Didn't exist back then.
There's no transportation chapter. There's no telecommunications chapter. There's no anything like that where
Yeah.
we can, so those will all be chapters that need to
Need to be added,
be added and worked on.
okay. So that takes care of the towers and that stuff. What else were we looking at?
Site plan.
As in,
So a site plan review would either allow the planning board or a committee made up of
The webinar for tomorrow.
the zoning board, the planning board, the select board, whomever we decide to actually have review over
Okay.
a change in use. So if somebody wanted
Okay.
to change the use from a residential to a commercial, or a residential to a residential, so like a single family to a 3 or 4 family, which would be life safety, or somebody wanted to come in and put in a commercial facility or something like that.
turning a garage into a living space?
That's a change in
Yeah.
use. It is a change in use. So any of those
We need
things,
something for them people not to be living in sheds either.
that would be a change in use.
Go to Marjo's place, she's got that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So this would have them come in with an application, and they would be seen on an application by application basis. And that's what the site plan review is all about, and in a very simplified form.
And that's actually, change in uses happens a lot more in the rural areas because somebody starts a business.
Mhm.
I want to run it out of my home, so they come to the town. Now all of a sudden, accesses have to change.
Yep.
your fire situation has to.
Everything has to change. So if they want to have a simple business and it's all contained in the home and there's nothing
I'm gonna do.
that's stored outside, nothing that's stored outside, the rural look doesn't change, the parking has changed, then that's a simple, oh geez, nothing has changed. I'm going to run a business out of my home. I'm going to be on the internet. I'm going to be researching this. I might have UPS show up once a day instead of once a month. That's a small, simple in-home business and
It's not an impact system.
no, it's not an impact and you just sign off on it. But if you have somebody that comes in and says, I'm going to run a business out of my home and, I'm going to be selling this product and I'm going to have it all over the front of my yard and you're going to see all of this product strewn across my yard and I'm going to have hours anytime I feel like it and deliveries at 3:00 in the morning and you're going to hear noise and so you're interrupting the residential neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole different-
And I need another driveway and I want this and I want that, then that's where you need the site plan overview. Because
So that'll cover.
So no pink flamingo and windmill sails on. Got it.
Yeah. Try to contain yourself, Ed. Now, what can we do about, these places that look like a dump factory?
So
Well,
again,
We do
that's,
have an ordinance
Yep.
that's in the zone. It's just that
We don't
it's a matter
to
of
enforce it.
yeah, we don't have an enforcer. So again,
Well,
that's,
the enforcer for zoning ordinances is the select board,
it says that.
right? It says that. But then you run into, let's take
Who's gonna
Croydon. Well, one, you run into who's gonna do it. Second thing you run into is, you come up on my property and I go, you're trespassing, get off, I don't care what you're here for. Now you gotta call the state police, he's here on official business. Sorry, I'll see you, it's just a nightmare. But if you have it in writing from starting, you can certainly slow it down from happening.
Mhm.
Then the next issue you run into is you have people who started collecting all kinds of crap before zoning even existed. Well, they're grandfathered. You can't go in there now.
Right.
I've been here for 50 years and this has been here for 50. So you get caught in that hole.
Yeah.
And there was a guy on Reed's Mill Road. You go by Sean Carroll's and there's a real sharp bend there. This guy had every
Yeah, we know who you're talking about.
piece of junk and it was all leaching in. And finally it was the EPA was the only way they could get them.
Oh,
All the time.
so I think,
Into the brook.
Yeah.
Into the brook, and Newport tried to get him out to clean it up, and he fought it. It took them about 3 years. And they got the EPA in there because of everything leaching into the river. That's how they finally got him.
But you can do that. It's leaching into the wells, it's leaching into the aquifer.
Yeah.
And even people who have had that forever, if there's a health concern, if
Right.
there's, that's how it can be done.
Right.
But if it's written up,
If it's written out.
as a
you just-
policy and procedure, yes, you can send them a letter.
Yep.
And then, you send them a certified letter. Then you fine them. And if you don't pay the fine, then there has to be a money in a fund someplace so you can start going through the whole procedure of taking them to court. Croydon's never been that way.
But we do have, basically, you didn't like the word, what was the word? There was a word in there, you said junk or something like that. You like it.
Yeah.
Junkyard.
So we already have that in our ordinance. but-
yeah, I wanted to change the word though.
Joke.
Yeah,
Because one person's junk is someone else's treasure, so it's like.
right. So we already have the ordinance. It's a matter of the select board, because they're the enforcers. If they hear of anybody building new that has a bunch of stuff, the select board has to send them a letter. And nip it.
Right, but to what you were saying though, I understand the grandfather kind of thing, but if it is like you said, safety or
Oh,
fire
yeah,
issue
that's a whole
now,
different avenue. They've crossed the line.
so,
So if a
On
fire
particular-
truck, if a fire truck can't get down the road because it's totally blocked,
Oh, like our friends.
that's a safety.
right, if I can't get to their house, and that's what I mean.
Yeah, but you also can't necessarily nitpick about what somebody's gotten a pile in their backyard.
True.
If,
Right,
I mean,
right, which is
I agree
fine.
with you.
But if I can't get to the
Access.
house to help them or
Sure.
put out a fire, that's
Yeah.
that's
I
a
agree.
safety issue.
Yeah, and if it's a grandfather situation, the fire department would have to send an official letter stating that if there is a fire here, we cannot be responsible.
Well, see, that's what I think should happen soon.
Yep.
Because if this guy has a heart attack soon,
Yeah,
he's gonna die there, because I
we
ain't
need
kidding.
to know we cannot
Right.
be responsible.
Dude, very
And that might be one of the other letters that is sent, beyond the fact that,
Release of liability.
and if you won't sign it, then
Well,
you take it in, record it at the registry of deeds, and then send him a copy of the recording.
with the new agreement that's going to be between the fire department and the town, that would be your kind of a way out, I guess you could say, as far
Yeah.
as getting into that house. Because if you have an agreement with the town, that means
It's
that
the
you're
town's
going to
responsibility.
ensure the safety of all residents that are able and willing to make that a possibility.
Yeah,
If this person isn't making that a possibility, then you either have to find a way to get out of the responsibility of ensuring their safety or making them conform
Right,
to whatever
sure.
policy they're
Right,
making.
yeah,
right.
that makes sense.
I think I said that right.
I know what you're saying.
We get what you're saying.
Because now there's, well, not yet, but there will be a contract.
There will be a contract
between the
to-
Fire department
right.
and the town for its residents.
For our service to the best of our abilities.
So in order
So I'm,
to ensure your end of that contract, they need to
yeah,
hold up their end.
yeah,
So
totally agree.
you'll have to send him an opt-out letter.
I mean,
Sort of, yeah.
If they don't reply,
It's
there
kind
are.
of- that's kind of what it boils
You
down
know,
to.
what I'm thinking though is when I have a moment, maybe I'll actually get a hold of the state fire marshal. And because I know the lead state fire marshal. I'll get his opinion on it too and say, hey, what rights do I have here to force this person to start cleaning his yard? Or
Yeah, or say,
Or
Release of
actually-
liability.
Yeah.
or a liability, right, that I'm not held liable if he has a heart attack at the house and I can't get to him.
like a class 6 road waiver.
Right,
Exactly like
Yeah.
that, I'm either make it so that I can get to you or sign this waiver.
right, right, saying because I'm not putting my people at risk
No.
of their safety, trying to help you out because you don't want to clean your yard. Or make it accessible.
Yeah, right next door.
Remember that next week.
What, your contract?
Yeah, I gotta come meet the selectmen next week and we're gonna go over that and figure out who's gonna write it. Bruce, what are you doing? You're a lawyer. Want to write a contract for us? Yeah, yeah. How much you charge an hour for us? It's even less than our lawyer. Probably are.
Bruce has notes.
Yeah, that was just from when we went through the zoning.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't want to do a deep dive on this. I just wanted to get us all back started. Yes. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page and we got Dominic and Bruce.
So we got to a point where we went through the whole zoning and then we made a bunch of notes and stuff on a bunch of different sections. What we want to like add, what we feel should add in wording change, definitions on some stuff, but I don't think we ever got to a chance to get to the point of really sitting down with you guys
No.
and going over this. So I think we're kind of at a point where we can add a couple of these things that we're talking, the towers, don't, in here somewhere, but until you have more members,
Yeah, that's.
We're almost kind of
Kinda-
at a standstill
kinda
in a little bit to go over anything.
Yeah, that's okay, blame it all on me.
No,
Not you.
Would it be a good idea to have something hanging up in the office? Just so that everybody comes in here to register cars, pay taxes, all that.
Dogs, that is the
Do we
dog.
have something on the office there that says that the zoning board and planning board are looking
Seeking alternates or,
Yeah.
or
Alternates
full-time
and-
members.
in full-time people?
Almost gonna have to have it right hanging on the door, I think,
Well,
for people to
yeah,
actually.
it's gotta-
It's dropped out in front of you on your way in the door.
I'll email
Like the pail of milk, you know?
Christie and ask him to put something up.
I mean, in order for this to be effective, you have to have
Mhm.
full boards with some alternates.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll get stuck doing all the work.
What do you mean? I will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna do your hours too, since you're so good.
No,
So,
I-
I think we have to be very proactive to get,
Yes,
I mean, we need two alternates, for sure.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
we need
Yeah.
more people.
we need more people, and I don't know how else to get it out there
I
by,
know.
Is it something you can put on the
I'm
website?
gonna put it on the website.
well, that's why I
Have
turned to
them-
face the camera and said, hey, we need more people.
We'll get it on the door, we'll get it on the website.
I was gonna say, do you have potential right now? of
Yes.
One or two people?
Yes.
Okay. I thought
So, and then Larry, will be back, I believe.
in May, end of May.
End of May. So, you know, hopefully we'll have a potentially full board
in June,
in June.
which is 5, right?
You know, the problem I see in a small town like this, lousy internet.
Yeah.
Oh, and they just went up $3 a month this month.
Get reamed out again.
So it's gonna take 2 years,
Communication
but
is-
that should get better. The whole work they're doing in Newport is coming all the way down through Grantham.
That doesn't help us.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying.
But
It's gonna take
the
2 years,
warrant
but
Article that got passed.
Dead by
I'll
then.
be working on that sooner rather than later. Get things moving.
this is why we need an alternate.
If get a satellite, we can get Starlink just for here, for the internet. It would be such a great help.
Well, it would make the office work a lot
Oh,
easier
so
and more
much.
streamlined as well.
And all your meetings, I mean,
Yeah, we start
How many
putting
times
in
Believe
the
me,
equipment
believe
in
me, I'm
there.
tired of setting that little rinky-dink thing up and taking it down and everything else every time too.
What does the town have now? Just consolidated?
It's awful.
It's terrible.
but you know, having.
I wonder if you can, if Starlink's expensive, I wonder if you get a hold of Consolidated and say, hey, is there
Starlink,
any way we can get you to the fiber optic a little bit further down here?
Starlink is one.
Does it come to the
and-
fire station now?
It comes to the
Yeah.
fire station. You guys have consolidated? See, some consolidated, most cable companies.
And I have fiber optic too.
Use municipal
It,
buildings.
it took some pulling, it's not cheap,
But
but
do you have it at your house?
no,
Okay.
I have it at the
Yeah,
fire
it's-
station.
okay, municipally.
Did
you
the
can
fire
get it. Got it.
station have to pay for it, or did?
No, it's municipal, it's free.
They already had it to that pole. It's just no one was hooked up to it.
Well, who's
And
your
when
contact?
When I did that for you, I have his card. And then when I was doing all the work, I wanted to put everything underground so we could get rid of that pole in the middle of the parking lot.
No.
That's when I
maybe
called
that's-
Consolidated. I
No,
said, look, I
but
want
it's
to upgrade
municipal,
our internet.
So
so it
everything
comes
would
in
be
that.
free except the
But they
actual
had no
run.
more room in that box. And he says, well, we can give you fiber optic and blah, blah, blah. This, like, well, all right, sweet. Half of it was French to me.
I had the
So I
job.
got it all looked up. It's cheap what I pay every month, but I'm assuming once more and more people get on and start to get fiber optic.
So how much is it? Because Starlink is 120. It's more than that.
For residential, for residential, the quoted price from Fidium, once it's through, is $70 for 1 gig. And that's matched up and down, upload and down.
Upload and download?
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's, you're 70 for 1 gig, and I think it's like 90 for 2 gig. You don't, unless you're running copious amounts
Right.
of
Unless you've got
stuff.
12
You will
people here
not.
gaming.
Right.
So I mean, it's a waiting game
Or
until
everybody
it's
in the
through,
family's live
unless you want to
streaming
go
videos.
for Starlink,
Crap.
which that's basically what it is. It's, you can either wait
And
and
we're
potentially wait
paying-
for 2 years.
We're
because it's
paying
supposed to be
like
through by
$58
2025.
now for consolidated.
Yeah, I'm paying, I think my
So-
latest.
I mean, my internet's great. I
Knocking on
won't buy there.
So for another 10,
Yep.
another $10, you're gonna get so much more service
Yeah.
for your pennies.
Well, I had nothing. We have Starlink now. We had no choice.
And I assume you're quite happy with it.
I'm much happier than I was, which was nothing.
The initial startup cost for Starlink is where people kind of,
Back
they're
off.
on the hedge, they're on the fence. But I mean, it's $600. You gotta either, you buy now, cry now. You know what I mean? Buy once, cry once. kind of
We were
deal.
beta testers.
Well, there you go. So I mean, it's not the cheap.
For meetings like this, if you have good internet, you go, let me look up that.
Yeah, let me look.
Oh,
at
yeah.
that.
Bang.
Yeah,
Right, have
Well,
it
the same-
built on those.
let me see
That's,
that too.
that's the reason why during a lot of these, the school board meetings, if you've got Beth here doing accounting stuff and you have the 3 members of the board doing whatever, doing their stuff on there, and then you've got Nicole
Frank.
and Frank, it
All
chews up all the
online.
bandwidth, and then I get chewed out because, well, the picture's
But
crap,
we
the
couldn't
sound's
do
crap.
it.
Believe me, if I could make it work, I would.
Or I need to look
Nothing I can
something
do.
up from the minutes.
Gee, I forgot my
Or-
magic wand tonight.
Oh, my gosh.
No, I feel bad because
No,
I like
I
to
know.
no,
provide.
I can't
service.
even, so if we had that, I mean, Larry could call in or he could video in and attend the meetings while.
Yeah.
As long as you've got
Jim
your,
Harding
as long
did
as
it
you've
for
got your
years
quorum
when they
here
were in
in-house,
Kentucky for the winter.
I mean, as long as you've got your quorum in-house, he can be
Yep.
video linked in. He can't vote on anything from there, but he can still
Yep, he can be,
be
he
part
can
of
attend.
the conversation and participate. I mean, as long as you're not holding any crucial votes where you need his.
And he would
Yep.
do it. He'd come in and be part of the whole thing. But
I mean-
just, we can't do it. He couldn't even call the other meeting.
For what that is, I mean, it's not cheap. A lot better than something that's sitting over in the corner, picking up all the ambient sound.
So what is your weight on trying to get these other 2 people in?
So we're having a working meeting Monday,
Mhm.
Chris and Joe and I, and we'll be going over the candidates. And if necessary, we're going to have a non-public working meeting so we can talk about everybody and everything. And then present to the select board on the 11th, candidate and alternate.
Now, who are your candidates?
We have JP Morgan, Jim Pesci, Christie, McKeon, and Adam Kimball. I have 4 candidates. All of them are very, very good candidates.
Christie got off the zoning board because she.
I know, I was just thinking that, what the heck?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, well, one of those candidates quits everything she's done.
All of them, except for one, stated that they'd be very happy to be alternates.
Well, okay.
So,
Twice she's quit this,
Yeah, and this,
and then changed her mind back to doing it, and then this, she quit. I think you got on board when she quit.
she
Mhm.
told me
Yeah.
that she became part of the zoning because you guys needed a quorum or an extra member. Then there was something that happened. But she was very interested and she's a decent candidate. I'm not going to dismiss her. We've got to have a conversation on them all. So
So you have 2 proposed members and 2 alternates, or you have 4?
we need 1 member.
Okay.
Larry's a member. Just- Yeah,
Just
and he
saying.
migrates, like I say,
Yeah.
migrates. So what I have to offer the alternates is that there's going to be several months where you're going to be voting.
Mhm.
And so my alternates can rotate in. You're gonna have to come to the meetings, you're gonna have to become involved. I'm going to have things for you to do. I've got master plan chapters that need to be written. I've got all kinds of stuff. And what's nice about that is 2 alternates, 2 planning board members, or a planning board member and an alternate can get together
Yeah.
and meet. And it's not a quorum,
Yep.
and they can work on something and then come back to the board, and we can discuss it all and work on it some more at a board meeting. And then they can continue on with that project. And it would be so nice to have the availability to have all of those people working on things. And then the alternates will be able to come in and actually discuss and be part of the meetings, and every other month during the winter months, there'll be a voting member. Because
So
Terry
you
will
could
be
do that
there.
on the zoning as well. One of us could step out
Yep.
as a voter,
Mhm.
have the alternate there, so they don't feel like they're left out.
Well, they can come
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh, yeah,
And if
absolutely.
they're part of the
Yeah.
discussion.
Right,
You know, one of us volunteers to step back on votes,
on votes, yeah.
you know.
They sit out, because that's part of it. They feel more involved.
Well, even if you think that somebody has the same mental, if somebody thinks the same as you do, and you want to step back and give them a chance. and
I would
see how it
absolutely
works.
step back if it meant they would feel much more
Yeah.
involved. I would step back for a meeting, say,
Or-
okay, another vote.
Might get
Same.
lost.
I'm still gonna have the opinion like everybody else
Sure.
does. I just won't vote that meeting. I wouldn't have a problem.
And I can't wait to not be chair.
Yeah.
I just,
Right, good luck.
Right?
You're gonna have somebody new coming in that's gonna say, yeah, I want to be chair. I don't know what I'm getting into. I want to be chair.
yeah,
I did.
yeah. There's no reason why.
I think I realized I was chair after I was, yeah. Oh, by the way.
After I was already chair.
What?
I want to be able to put together, procedures and policies, and there's nothing of how we actually run things and perform
No.
things and.
Policies and procedures.
That sounds familiar. I mean, I want people to understand that when they bring in a subdivision, there's an application and a process, and this is how you do things.
And you can't just go
How you-
stick a building in the back of the field?
So at our last meeting, Bruce brought in basically all these forms for appeal, administrative decision, exemptions, dimension requirements, different files, people that, I'm sorry, forget the new guy's name. Paul can go into our filing cabinet, pull out that form, hand it to
Hand it
people,
to
they
them.
can literally fill it out, and then we can actually have
Yes.
some more form to go by. And then also when a decision is made, that can actually go in a
In the file, so you have a whole
Yeah.
written record.
Yeah,
Right,
which
Right,
we're supposed to do.
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
because those 2 drawers in there now, full of, I threw half the stuff, but nothing in there that was worth keeping. So.
But that's the whole idea, so that when anybody comes in, they know exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we have people who are working here that at least they also have a list. So, oh, you're coming in to do what? Okay, yeah, get this says you need this, and okay, you've checked those, but not this.
Right. At the same time, I think we mentioned this too, there needs to be some charges to some of these things also.
We need a better fee structure.
A better fee
and
structure
that was
in order to
something we're
make,
working on.
right, those fees should go to a separate whole fund. I don't know if they do now or not. So when we do have legal actions that we have to take, maybe that's where that money can come from to help cover.
I don't know if
From
things
top.
like that could be, I'm not sure if things like that could be earmarked. I think it would have to go into the general.
They have to
fund.
go in the general
I think
fund?
fees, I think, I'm not sure, I think fees.
Well, I wonder if you have to make a vote that those fees would go into a separate file for,
I mean, there would be
you
a
know.
record of how much the planning board charged the fees. on
Right,
the zoning
right.
board. But I'm not sure if you can earmark.
that would be one, I agree, yeah, it would have to be something to look into.
Yeah, so we can only increase the fees by going to the town meeting and asking the legislative body to increase our fees. We need to do that so that we can recoup some of the costs. And I think if we can do that, give a report to the Board of Selectmen, which is something that they haven't had for the town report. They haven't had a report from the planning board or the ZBA. This is what we've done. This is, the subdivisions, these are the different meetings we've had, the appeals we've had. And this is how much money we've collected. And then perhaps it's something, if it's comes out of the general fund, we can ask that they put aside so much money for us to be able to
Right.
run the
Well, look how
necessary
much it
things.
is to run an ad in the shop or to have a special meeting.
Yep.
It's crazy.
That's why there should be fees for anything over 100 square feet on a building, not just living space, garages, sheds.
In order to do, in order. to
Missing
do
out on a lot of
something-
money.
Yeah, all of that, public hearing, any of it,
There's nothing that doesn't cost anything anymore,
Right.
driveway permit, just to have one of the highway guys go and look at a driveway permit.
Right.
Well, I know I turned the thermostat in here up 5 degrees when I showed up. You kicked it up another 5 degrees and
And
it's
it's
still
still
cold.
cold.
Still cold, right?
So it only stays at that temperature for like 5 minutes and then it goes back to when it was originally set at. It has to be programmed, funny. I found that out.
So you have to go over there every 5 minutes.
Jack it up, because it's
Jump static.
Yeah.
So,
Which is
no, I'm
needed.
gonna look into that.
That 10 fund, yes. The
We
10,000.
talked about
Was
this
it 10 or?
last time. There was a fund that a bunch of us.
Yeah, I remember that. I like that idea of building
It's
a
at the end of
separate.
here or the end of here,
rooms,
just a small
meeting.
building for meetings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Save
Yeah,
a
so you
fortune
don't-
in heat,
Yeah.
lights it.
Yeah.
And there's a fund that Jane did, and myself,
Why wouldn't we just meet in that room?
Yeah, really.
Because it's a time, it's big enough for
Yeah.
this many people.
That's a good question. Why are we?
We
We did
needed,
meet in that room, except
But I
that
thought
there's
that was
no
That's
room.
not
select
for the
board's-
public.
Isn't that the
It's
select
not
board's?
enough room for the public.
for the public,
Right.
for something like this.
Yeah.
We could have.
If we didn't have, but if you had public, then we have to come out here.
I'll look up and see if that fund's still there. It was there a couple of years ago still.
And the fund was for where?
It's a fund that a bunch of us got together. We wanted to, at the time, at the chief, we wanted to come up with a way to put an office.
Okay.
So that the select board, the chief, and I think there was something else we wanted to do. So we started a fund to do it. And I want to think we were up like 25,000 in that fund. It was there a couple of years ago.
And who put the money in the fund?
It was voted on every year. It was earmarked. It went to the fund. So I got a note here. I'm gonna look it up and see. It was there a couple of years ago in the book. So if it
Oh,
is,
I remember, yes, there was something to add in.
right, we
addition
were gonna,
to
we
the
were gonna change
back.
that whole setup.
Yep.
And, I would just assume maybe we could, as a group, write up a warrant article to have a small meeting room built.
Mhm.
You know, that would cost, I just, about 10, so if you had something small enough to handle just 15, 20 people max. Otherwise, if a lot of people show up, you just come right in here.
So you've been over to the fire station for the first, right? Do you think that room was,
That's a good sized room for us.
I mean, that's only 14 wide by, well, the whole thing was 48 feet, but minus my offices, so, which was
20.
And so 38, so probably 14 by 25.
Yeah, that's all, I think that's all we need,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
if you well insulate the thing, it'd be nothing to heat
Yeah.
it right
Yeah.
up. You know, and if you have to use the John, you can still come in here and stuff. You don't have to blast all this up all the time.
Yep.
If the fund's still there, because you said that to me.
Yeah.
It was there a couple of years ago, so I will.
Well, it should.
Of course, you're gonna need to double that amount to do that kind of addition now, but.
We could also do a warrant article, and ask for another 10.
Right, ask for another 10, right, get some estimates. Yep.
We'll get you to ask for the 10,000 because
Yeah.
That
you
it'll
ask
just
for
help.
10, you get 20.
I know, I'll do it. Not gonna lie, it shocked me a little bit, but
Filing cabinet in there just for meetings.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Plenty of decent people in this town.
oh, yeah.
And you could even almost just take the stage and just block the stage off.
Do something besides trying to heat this place up.
I would like to know how good the sound would be with the curtains drawn.
It'd be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean,
And
curtains
close
and
those two doors.
any textile, any fabric on a wall is definitely gonna help your sound quality.
Yeah,
It's
there
gonna
were
dampen.
curtains over the windows and those curtains were closed and those two
The
doors were
sound would be
closed.
1,000 times better.
Do we want to try it on Tuesday?
I'm running, I don't care. I'll pull the windows and draw the curtains.
Why not?
Yeah.
Put my nightcap on and.
I'm telling you, I'm bringing.
Sing myself to sleep.
Glad we didn't wait for Joe to show
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
maybe he thought it was 8 o'clock.
No,
up.
Yeah, right.
no,
Tomorrow night.
no, he knew.
So we're meeting again next month, so we'll try to work on some of this other stuff because we're starting to
Thought you
narrow
were
it
meeting
down.
at the end of this month.
The end of this month, sorry, I forgot what.
I know.
I know.
Better than you do.
Yeah.
I forgot what month we were in. That's right, we're in
When
April now.
when am I meeting with him?
When are you?
Yeah.
The 11th.
Good answer, because I was like, what?
Yeah, April 11th. I didn't bring my book.
I thought it was the 24th. It's the 24th.
Whatever the last
26th.
Wednesday is.
24th.
I wanted the
26.
26, 6 PM.
And then the 24th of May.
24th of May.
So until you get all your members here, I don't think we don't need to really meet again as a one big until.
We have definite direction now too.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right. All I wanted to do was get
yeah,
everybody.
just kind of recap
together
where we were and
Get going.
get it flowing again.
I'll push the
26th.
cell tower review and. Yeah, as long as everybody's agreeable that, I think we can really work on this and I just hated to lose that momentum and I think we can pick it up and continue on. So thank you.
So
enough
that,
people.
you need a little yellow card when you get your permit, you have to post. You know,
Well, then we.
That's already a rule, right, in this town? Should be. I was told I had. to
Should
post
be,
mine.
if it is, they don't have anything they hand out. They come in, get a permit and off they go. They don't post anything, so.
I got my permit for my house. I was told. I had to staple it.
Great.
It was on the exterior door.
Did they,
Outside.
did they give you,
The signed permit,
Right.
not, it's not a different color or anything, it's
That's
just
Right.
basically.
I think we need to, right, but it should be,
That's what I was told. I mean, it was like
You
$2
actually
or
get up.
something.
right.
They said, put it in a plastic bag. and say-
I do like what Newport does. They make theirs yellow, so it stands out. So, because when I first joined on,
Makes things happen.
Joe kept calling me at 2, 3 different places. And he
You
was
wear
going,
it,
"What?"
use purple.
And we're gonna start drinking Bud Light more often, right?
On video.
Oh, facing this way.
No, maybe instead of a building inspector, you want a zoning compliance officer.
Yeah,
He can wear purple.
That's right, when I get this taken off, I'm gonna ask him to do an Italian leg next time.
yeah. There you go.
And then
Yep.
this week, I'm gonna ask him. See if they're doing it.
For your walking one?
All right.
All right.
So if we're good,
The first Wednesday in May.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second
Do we
it.
ever?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
59. Unless you want to make it 8.
Take all those chairs from the public and put them back here.
They